Local cafe chain Oriental Kopi has big plans for itself post-listing, and expansion is at the forefront. However, the F&B industry is as cutthroat as it is fickle, and fortunes can change literally overnight. We sit down with Managing Director Datuk Calvin Chan to ask about what his vision for Oriental Kopi is, his big expansion plans for the brand, and the sticky issue of pricing. Let's talk about your vision in particular, because you wanted to say, like I said in the IPO, you want to open a certain number of restaurants. You're using part of your proceeds to open all these restaurants.
Yes.
Can you give us a rough idea? But I know it's not all the same, but can you give us a rough idea? How much does it cost to set up like one Oriental Kopi outlet since you're managing it yourself?
Actually, it depends on the size. The size. Let's say maybe 2,000 square feet. If you compare with 4,000 square feet one, the cost must be different.
Oh, well, like for example, where we're sitting now is actually Pavilion, obviously more expensive rent, a more high-end part of town. That would be quite different. But can you give us an average of like maybe a standard one in a mall?
Actually, roughly 2 million.
Roughly 2 million.
Slightly above and maybe slightly lower a bit.
But let's go into your expansion plans, because you have announced that post-IPO you want to go into like 13 more outlets, right? You wanted to add that number more outlets. So let's talk about your expansion plan, because I see that you guys grew very fast during the pandemic because you were born out of the pandemic, right?
Yeah, actually before MCO period, actually we do a lot the survey, and also we do the R&D for a long time, quite a long time for us. Even a simple dish like roti bakar, we also try to do some enhancement for this. We try to put in a lot of idea and anything we can do to enhance our Malaysian food taste, or maybe the presentation also. So I think more than a year we do the R&D for our restaurant.
What new areas is Oriental Kopi looking at going into after like listing?
Yeah, we're planning for other states. Yeah, also maybe more outlet in Penang also.
He explains that it usually takes around a year for a cafe to break even, but adds that also depends highly on the location. According to its prospectus, Oriental Kopi has earmarked 36.4 million ringgit to expand its cafe network in Malaysia. Chan says that all of them will be owner-operator and vehemently insists that Oriental Kopi is not planning to move into the franchise model. What it is planning to do is spending 53.68 million ringgit to, among others, setting up a warehouse and central kitchen. While he understands the criticisms that cooking in a central kitchen may lead to a decline in quality, Chan says that it will mostly be used for preparation, and that not only will cooking continue at the restaurants, their restaurant managers are tasked with randomly testing what comes out of the kitchen every 3 hours. While quality control is half of the battle when it comes to pleasing consumers, the other half comes from price. A report from Apex Research shows that net margins slipped from 19.7% in FY22 to 15.1% in FY23, before stabilizing at 15.6% in FY24, due in part to higher raw material and input costs, but balanced out by improved operational efficiency and economies of scale. Malaysians are famously price sensitive, especially when it comes to food, and are vocal about it as well. When reports emerged of Oriental Kopi adjusting their prices in line with rising overall costs, the F&B player got some blowback. But Chan says that it is not just them facing this problem.
So I want to ask you, Calvin, how are you going to keep your prices competitive as everything goes up? The cost of everything goes up. How?
The ingredient price going up, I think not impact for us, and also this one is impact for everybody, and also the same industry. So we will review, is it the ingredient going, how much the cost increase. If the cost is just roughly maybe increase a bit, we will absorb by ourselves. We are not always to increase our menu price.
Will you increase prices? Do you have like a schedule, like at the end of every year or anything? Do you look at your prices and then do you adjust? When does Oriental Kopi usually adjust their prices?
Actually, we not always adjust our prices. Yeah.
Really?
Yes. We just review our cost. Is it we can absorb or not? Yeah. We will not always increase our prices.
So how do you control the price of your coffee beans, especially now that it's going up?
For coffee bean, we have a very long-term relationship and also good relationship with because we working together quite a long time already. So they know our quantity and also they will secure the quantity for us to keep our impact lower.
So your plan is to make all your cafes halal certified.
Yeah.
When are you planning to achieve this?
I think hopefully we can done this before May 2025.
So every single outlet,
Yeah.
and then the new ones, when you go forward, will they be halal certified as well? You're aiming for that?
According to the Jakim Halal requirement, we cannot just direct apply halal before we open the new outlets. So after we open new outlet, then definitely we will try our best to submit the halal application as soon as possible.
If the crowds and long lines are anything to go by, business does appear to be booming for Oriental Kopi. This is reflected in core net profit growing at a 3-year compounded annual growth rate of 112.4% between FY22 to FY24, reaching 43.1 million ringgit. Interestingly, Chan says that when Oriental Kopi started, the plan really was just to open one outlet. This was when he was still running his mobile phone business at the time. However, he isn't entirely a novice to the F&B business, being one of the co-founders of the Black Whale bubble tea chain together with his sister, Kelly Chan Yen Min, and brother-in-law, Kuei Song Liang. Both are now executive directors of Oriental Kopi. Chan insists, though, that no matter how many cafes they open, the goal remains the same: to serve Malaysian soul food that caters to every rung of society and promote Malaysian food to the rest of the world in more ways than one.
So last time actually I always travel to other countries. So I always travel. Then I found that why so maybe for me so hard to see any Malaysian food restaurant in overseas countries. So I always craving for this. Before I going to overseas country, I also must eat the nasi lemak, roti bakar, or else chao kway teow. Then I came back from other country also. The first thing I do must going to the Malaysian restaurant to having some authentic Malaysian foods.
Yeah.
So that's why I come up an idea. Is it I can do something for Malaysia? Then I discussed with my sister. We set our internal vision. We want to promote our authentic Malaysian cuisine to other countries. So that's why we started Oriental Kopi in Malaysia first.
You have opened, alongside all these kopitiams, a lot of these stores where you can buy the products that Oriental Kopi has. And I've noticed them in distributors as well, suddenly slowly starting to kind of make an appearance. So that business, how is that business going? Because that's really small still compared to like the restaurant business, of course.
We're targeting to open more in Malaysia. And also for most of the supermarket got selling our product also.
Do you have any international, we mentioned this actually, there is international interest in your FMCG products, right? International interest from overseas.
Yes. We receive a lot. Yeah. Some in the midst of discussion. We want to try our best to penetrate to more countries to sell our product and also to let more people to know Malaysian taste.